our personalities or our egos that are a product of our past energies, which create who we identify as, likes a sense of control, right? And if our past is soaked in suffering, our past is a product of pain and fear. Pain and fear, which creates a lamination of darkness, in which we can't see through the lamination or the veil to perceive that we are part of a oneness, and we are all dimensions and aspects of the oneness of all things. We term it as God. And as a dimension of the oneness of all things, we are to serve as conduits for the energy of the oneness of all things. Our egos don't like that, because our egos, the way that our God essence works and the way that our egos works are juxtapositions. They're juxtapositions, and our egos can't mimic our God essence. It can only play its role within God essence. Our egos, again, like to control, or like to seem like it has control. I feel like whenever I speak out of my mouth, in English anyways, like my words don't do my ancestors' energies justice, right? So I just came back from my evening walk, walking the pups, as per usual. And I was receiving what we will call downloads. I just like to say, like, I'm communing, having a powwow session with my ancestors, whom are one with me. I am one with my ancestors. And they were showing me, like, different realities that I've dwelled in, I dwell in, as we are multidimensional beings, having many experiences at once, infinite experiences at once. Why? The omnipresent energy in which we call God has 0 degrees of separation with the human being of planet Earth. So we are having infinite experiences at once. And I'm going to keep my experience on the low because it is definitely sacred. But I was able to feel energies of different experiences and understand the pertinence and importance of the twin flame dynamic, right? Because I'm like having a mood. I'm in a mood, right? Because I feel like energies from past lives and stuff like that. In this current incarnation, I'm feeling energies, right? And I'm like pissed and I'm in a mood. Normally I can shake the mood pretty quickly, but this one's pretty deep. I'm in a mood, right? And my ancestors were showing me that, like, twin flame dynamic is analogous to landing. Let me see. What I'm seeing in my mind's eye is like a aircraft, like landing, but it's like a rocket ship. Like it's like a rocket ship, right? But it's landing on the pad thing. It's landing, and it's to be lodged into like the landing pad contraption thing, right? To ground the aircraft into, the planet, to ground it, to land it safely, right? And so the twin flame dynamic is analogous to that, right? And it's like forgiving ourselves, as our twin flame and ourselves have 0 degrees of separation. It's forgiving ourselves, and it's like multifold in the human being of planet Earth experience, because we're forgiving ourselves, right? At the same time that we are one with our twin flames, our divine counterparts, we are also unique frequencies, unique, authentic beingness within and of ourselves. So we're forgiving ourselves, and then we have to forgive our mirror or our divine counterpart for all the stupid shit that we, he, she done, right? So the aircraft is God's energy, high frequency energies, right? And then in order to land this aircraft, ground it into planet Earth, ground the high frequency energies into planet Earth, lodge the high frequency energies into the planet Earth, we have to come home, right? We have to align the aircraft with the telepad or helipad, like the aircraft landing device. We have to align the aircraft with the aircraft landing device within that's planted in the earth. And how do you do that? How do you find that alignment? How do you allow for the magnetizing of the aircraft to the aircraft landing device that's lodged into the earth? You allow that magnetization by no longer running from the energies, allowing alignment of the energies. See, our thought patterns are contrived from the experiences of our ancestors or the other dimensions and aspects of ourselves where we experienced and cultivated the energies that get us perturbed and aggravated, and have us in a space where we don't want to convene with our divine counterpart, or we don't want to land our aircraft within the landing device. We want to keep on flying. We want to do our own thing. We don't want to ground. We don't want to come home. Forgiving the past energies allows for rectification. So when we don't forgive a relationship or a partnership or any situation, and we just leave without rectification, without forgiveness, without rectification, without repairing the situation to allow for unfolding of something new to come from that past relationship, we don't allow for the alignment for the fruition of something new. And this is like how my ancestors were showing me, like humans of planet Earth, why have we been reset? Our like high advanced civilizations in our past history been reset, like the antediluvian civilizations. Why were they wiped out by floods and catastrophic weather events? Because they didn't allow for the alignment of the energies and allow for the landing of the higher energies, the grounding of the higher energies in the planet in order to create something new. They gave up and they ran from themselves, and they stayed aggravated and perturbed at themselves and their families and their partners and their lives. So they didn't allow for alignment for higher wisdom to be planted in the earth, seated in the earth, higher frequencies to be seated in the earth in order for God to pump the creation, the civilizations, the energies with sustenance, like a baby and its umbilical cord that's connected to the my brain just went to the placenta, right? The baby's umbilical cord is connected to the placenta. You know how when the placenta is laid out flat, it looks like a tree of life. We don't allow for our umbilical cords or our connection with the Most High or our ancestors or the energies in which we cultivate to be pumped with more nutrients to raise the vibration, to raise the existence of the civilization. We just cut the cord and we run, right? What happens when you cut the cord? You're no longer able to be pumped with sustenance, and that's how we created death. We just run from things instead of allowing fruition, upgrading, and learning and nutrients to be garnered from the pain, the aggravation, the perturbment. We run instead, which doesn't allow for crops to be grown from that anger, perturbment, aggravation. We put the names on the energy of anger, perturbment, aggravation. The energies are energy. They can cultivate our soils and help grow fresh crops, but we don't allow for that. We don't allow to see that fruition to be seen through. We run, right? And God was showing me, Ashley, if the twin flames didn't come together on your planet in your reality to ground these energies, these higher energies into your reality, then humans of planet Earth umbilical cord, that would be likened to the humans of Earth's umbilical cord being cut which wouldn't allow for the higher vibrational energies from the placenta or from the ethers or from God or from the oneness of all things or from our ancestors to be pumped into this reality in order to raise our consciousnesses into an elevation state where we can thrive, not only survive, but thrive as a planetary system. Why do we run from the things that we love the most? Why do we run from the things that we want the most? Higher wisdom, understanding. In order to obtain and achieve something that we love and want and desire so deeply in our hearts, as a human being residing in the darkness or lower dimensional consciousness, understanding of who we are, what we are, where we are, our dark sides are exposed. Our dark sides are exposed when we truly desire and want something. Like it all falls out. It's hard to hide from yourself because you have thoughts and energies that flow through you that are what we call sinful. Greed, lust, desire. In order to get to heaven or higher consciousness, you have to go through hell or you have to get to know yourself. So it's not about being shameful of our sinful nature. It's about learning from our sinful nature and shining a flashlight of inquisitiveness upon the darkness in order to learn and grow. The 144,000 light warriors, light workers that were intended to manifest or incarnate in this reality in order to assist with uplifting this reality into higher frequency consciousness. We were operating through filters of pain from abandonment, right? We're in this reality. We know that there's something more. We know we have a greater purpose, but we can't remember. So we are succumbed to pain and fear of this lack of remembrance of a greater truth. So instead of being uplifting to this reality, we were submerging the reality underwater, drowning it, ailing it, out of pain of abandonment and rejection. Earth is the dimensionality that composes the creation that we know as planet Earth, Mother, Father, Gaia. It is trillions of years old. Trillions of years old as the energies that compose Mother, Father, Gaia, planet Earth are trillions of years old. These energies that compose the dimensionality that we know as planet Earth, Mother, Father, Gaia is 20 millions of years old. Earth has been known by many names. Kaya, being guided to say Kaya. Earth is the antediluvian civilizations that we have found archaeological evidence for are civilizations that were created from millions of years of evolution. We, as a modern day planet Earth, are at a precipice where we are in an age of coming, as we are transforming into a high consciousness civilization that will create a civilization of reflecting the high consciousness technologies, high consciousness compassion, high consciousness unconditional love, high consciousness harmony, high consciousness realities. We can only perceive that of our reality in which we have activated within ourselves. We were operating out of a small capacity of our genome DNA functionality, 1 to 7%, 1 to 7% DNA functionality is what we operated out of previously as a modern day Homo sapien sapien. Any evidence that we would find of higher consciousness, evolved civilizations are only going to be compatible or reflective of that in which we find within ourselves. Or we can only perceive in our reality in existence that in which we have perceived within ourselves. Where are these millions of years old sarcophaguses, skeletons, mummies, ancestors of our past? They will be uncovered, revealed, discovered as we continue to evolve into higher consciousness, human culture of planet Earth. There are sarcophaguses, tombs, what we would call tombs, where many priest kings and high priestess were laid to rest. They are buried in what we would know as modern day Egypt, as well as spots in the Sahara Desert, as well as South America, South America, the peninsula to the south, the south end of South America is what I'm seeing in my mind's eye. So Mesoamerican high priests and high priestesses, Sahara Desert, South Peninsula of South America, and modern day, what we would call modern day Egypt, high priestess and high priests have been laid to rest. And these high priestesses and high priests had dominion over how our reality played out when they dwelled in this reality. They still have dominion as their energy lives on through our creation that we perpetuate as we live our lives. Our ancestors and our ancestors of our past, every human that or every being that has resided in the realm that we call planet Earth of our past, whether we perceive them dark, evil, or of the light, saintly, they are all a part of the makings of us. We could not be who we are. We cannot be where we are without every incarnation on this planet. What is addiction? There is a dimensionality where addiction is a soul's or a person's way to connect to home, right? Serotonin, dopamine, adrenaline, these energies that, oxytocin, these energies that we're addicted to feeling, which we distract ourselves from ourselves in order to feel these energies through whether it's drugs, drinking, sex, daredevil activities, being adventurous, compliments, validation from others. It's a way to get those energies pumping through your system. These energies are a synthetic high. Comparable, I say synthetic high because the high that we are in our truths, our high vibrational spirits, souls, and energies that we are in our truth, translate when our high vibrational energies that are our truths, when they translate into this matrix or this old patterning reality created by the old humans' consciousnesses, understanding of reality, our high vibrational truths, when they translate into this reality created by our old understanding of reality, translates to the synthetic high, synthetic high of serotonin, oxytocin, adrenaline. Why do people get addicted to feeling these energies? Because they remind us of home, or our souls, or our truths, our high vibrational energetic truths. Why are there? Well, let me start by the circle of life. The circle of life, the circle of life. How does the circle of life continue, last, proliferate? With the understanding that every dimension of the circle of life serves to be its fullest self in order to contribute to the circle of life. Like this, what I'm seeing in my mind's eye is a celestial body. Like the stars shine, the planetary body shines. It doesn't fear its shine being stolen or its energy being siphoned. Why have we created the ideology of energy vampires? Because we fear our energy being siphoned or stolen. And why do we fear our energy being siphoned or stolen? Because we identify our energy as ours, as something that we own, when in all actuality we're gifted our energy to proliferate our energy in every now moment of our realities. We only attract people that siphon our energies because we fear it, and we subconsciously co-create that reality through siphoning others' energies ourselves, which is how reality was always supposed to work. Very tribal. Everybody playing their part. And playing your part starts with being your full self, emitting your full light to contribute to the alchemy of reality. I'm doing shadow work, or taking time to dwell within myself. And I was gifted internally by my soul with this mantra. Everything that I experience is a projection of my soul to live, to love, to be, to grow. Everything that I experience is a projection of my soul to live, to love, to be, to grow. Everything that I experience is a projection of my soul to live, to love, to be, to grow. Familiar structure, we like to call it karmic energies, karmic people, karmic situations, are they acted as our intuitive compass. It's like, whatever the family did, whatever I was taught, that's my intuitive. Those are the steps that I follow energetically. Our intuitive compass is our God essence or our soul. Our God essence or our soul is every dimension and aspect of ourselves, and in our highest potentials, and with us embodying our highest potentials. So our soul is husband, our soul is wife, our soul is career, our soul is love, our soul is family, our soul is bonding, deep intimacy, our soul is abundance, our soul is our health, right? Why did we create a society, a planet that simulated death? Why did we create a society, a planet that simulated broken homes? Why did we simulate a society, a planet that simulated disease? Why did we simulate a society, a planet that simulated famine? Why did we simulate a society, a planet that simulated poverty? Because of our egoic detachment from the soul or God. Egoic because we know our egoic patterns are illusions. We've never been detached from soul or God, but we decided to create an illusionary detachment from soul or God through our thought patterns. We've never been detached from our soul or God. We've never been detached from our majesty. It's the thought patterns that we decided to use that created the illusion of detachment, which created the illusion of death, which created the illusion of poverty, which created or simulated the illusion of death, simulated the illusion of poverty, simulated the illusion of famine, simulated the illusion of disease. None of these things exist in all truth, in a higher wisdom truth. Death doesn't exist. Famine doesn't exist. Poverty doesn't exist. Disease doesn't exist in a higher truth. It's an illusionary depiction that we simulated through our thought patterns. Just as we will begin to simulate a society with no poverty, we will be able to begin to simulate a society with no death. We will begin to simulate a society with no famine. We will begin to simulate a society with no disease. We will begin to simulate a society with no death. We will begin to simulate a society with no poverty. We will begin to simulate a society with world peace, no war. Because an evolved human mind, operative function, an evolved operative function of the human chooses happiness, chooses wealth, chooses abundance, chooses togetherness, chooses divinity. A wellspring of impossibilities. And our demonization of codependence is really what had us fucked up. That's probably one of the worst things you can call somebody. Oh, you're codependent. Oh, you're codependent. Oh, you mean I'm not self-sufficient in and of myself? Let me be hyper independent. Let me show you. Let me put my walls up so high that not even the most divine of energies can flow through my vessel to assist me with being the best me. Let me be independent. The demonization of codependency is the devil on steroids. It's not codependent. It is codependency, but understanding that everything in creation works as a family, as a unit, as a team. There is no part of creation that does it on its own. Codependency, a negative connotation towards codependency is only a farce. No part of creation does anything on its own. Even when you think you are, that's delusional. Because we have energies circling every dimension of our vessels, of the creation we call God, assisting every other energy. There is no good or bad. There is no demon and angelic. There's only energy assisting with creating this thing called God or creation or the oneness of all things. Codependency is something that I don't ever want to feel a negative connotation towards that term, because I know everyone has their seasons, and everyone, sometimes one dimension of aspect of creation needs more push from the energies than another dimension. That doesn't make anyone less of anything else. Like, we're all in this together, period. We're all in this together. We're all in this together. If we didn't learn anything else from High School Musical. All right, y'all, bye.